Hello, and welcome to A Friend Like Me podcast. I am your host, Shariel, and I started this podcast because everybody needs a friend like me. Today's episode is a little bit serious, and that's why I'm dressed like Steve Jobs, the black girl version. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see me. But today's episode is Get Your Ducks in a Row. If you don't know what that means, it's a figure of speech. It just means get your life in order. And that's what I had to do from January until now. But if you're new or if you've already listened to my podcast before, you know that before we get into the main topic, I do my first segment, which is called What I've Noticed. What I've noticed is that when you stop caring about something, that's when it usually happens for you. So, for instance, if you want your hair a certain length and you've tried everything, you measure your hair and you're trying to do all these things, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm always 1 inch away, 2 inches away, whatever. But when you really stop caring about your hair or whatever the goal is, you end up getting it. It'll be one day you randomly straighten your hair and you're like, wow, I reached my goal. And that goes for big things too. If you have a podcast and you want 1,000 listens per episode, but you're getting 10 or you're getting 100, and it's when you're just consistent and you stop caring, that's when you end up getting that 1,000 listens per episode. So if you're going out for a goal, don't put pressure on yourself. Just do the action and the goal will come. So, getting your ducks in a row doesn't have to be dramatic. Getting your life together doesn't have to be like a crisis. It just means that you have something in your life that you want to fix. There's honestly a scale of getting your ducks in a row. It can be something minor, like I need to drink more water, to something major, like I need everything in my life to be better. I want my life to be different, completely different than what it is. And what I did this year, really from January until now, was flip my life upside down. And of course, I'm going to give you guys some details on what I did to really transform my life in the past month and a half. It sounds dramatic, but it kind of is. It kind of is because when you need drastic change, you have to take drastic measures. So I have 7 ducks that apply to me. These may not apply to you. You may have different ducks, but these are very important to me and they had to be put in order for me to thrive as a person. Because if my real life is not in order, I can't fake it on social media for other people. I can't put out content and fake the funk and act like I'm happy and get these views and these likes. If my real life is out of order, I'll literally like explode. I have to have my real life in order. So I have 7 ducks that I had to get in order and that I have to maintain to keep my new life going. The first duck is faith. The second duck is finances. The third duck is fitness and diet. The fourth duck is self-care. The fifth duck is habits. The sixth duck is relationships. And the seventh duck is environment. So we're going to dive deep into all of these topics right now. So the first duck is faith. This is important to me because I believe in God, I believe in Jesus, and I want to make sure that I'm always tapped in with God. When I start my day, I should not be on my phone checking my Instagram or my email. I should be praying. I should be thanking him for waking me up because without him, I wouldn't be up in the first place. I should be reading his word. It doesn't have to be a whole chapter, just a scripture that I want to practice and be better at. For instance, love your neighbor as thyself. That is so hard because, people can be annoying and it's hard to give people grace and be patient with them, but you have to be because you want that in return. How you want to be treated is how you should treat others. So that's a duck I always have to maintain and make sure I'm putting God first in everything I do. My second duck is finances. This is tricky for a lot of people because we want to have fun, but we also have bills. And that's not fun. Paying bills is not fun. But you have to pay yourself on time. You have to budget It is so important to be realistic about how much money you make, not what you make per hour, but what you make after they take out your taxes. That's what you actually make. And if you have side hustles or whatever, how much do you realistically make? Like if you do Uber Eats, don't say what you make with Uber Eats on a good night. Calculate what you make with Uber Eats on a bad night so that you're not overestimating how much money you really have. Budgeting is so important. When I budget, I literally include everything. It could be the storage on my Gmail. I count that because it's $1.99 a month. You can't let any dollar slip by because you don't wanna miscalculate and then end up living beyond your means and end up in debt or with a maxed out credit card because you don't have discipline and you're not budgeting. And with finances as well, depending on how you wanna live, if you're a person and you know you like to vacation, you may need to get a higher paying job or a side hustle so that you're not breaking the bank. If you want an apartment and you don't wanna live in a box, you might have to find somebody who's a trustworthy roommate because you don't wanna be living paycheck to paycheck just so that, you don't have a roommate. We have to be realistic with our finances, but also creative, with ways to improve them. So, personally, with my finances, I got a full-time job, because I do make content, but you have to wait. The money comes later, and I do this for passion as well, so I know the money will come, but until then, I don't wanna live I have to live at a certain level to where I'm comfortable, and I'm not comfortable with having just enough money from sewing, but not having money left over. So I'm sacrificing my time right now with a full-time job as well as doing my content and having my clothing brand. And I'm also investing in an office space so that I'm outside of my house, and that'll go into one of the other Doug's environment, but just know I had to improve my financial situation so that I'm so that I put myself in a better position to win. The third duck is fitness and diet. This one is so neglected, especially in America. We love to wear yoga pants and athleisure to Target, but we don't ever go to the gym. We don't ever go for a walk. We don't do anything but watch Netflix and literally eat. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying yourself. You have to decompress after work. Stuff is stressful. If you have kids, like, you want to relax. But the thing is, we think fitness and health is optional, and it's not. I'm not saying you have to go to the gym if you can't afford $10 a month. Not all of us can. And nobody always wants to go to the gym. But there are literally videos on YouTube that are free. Chloe Ting, um, I'm trying to think of some other women, uh, Annabelle Hayes, I think her name is. There's a lot of videos of fitness gurus on, I was gonna say Instagram too, but on YouTube, free workout plans, full body. And they're 30 minutes. You have to make time for your fitness because your body will break down on you. I'm so passionate about this because I am around older people all the time. And my grandmother personally is in great shape, but it's because she took care of her body. She worked out her whole life. And I'm not talking about like she's an Olympian, but she has a regimen and she still goes to the gym at least 3 times a week and she's in her 70s. So it's like I've seen her versus other older people that didn't take their health serious and some of them passed away early or just have bad health problems and they only get worse because now they're not able-bodied to correct it because they're old. So you just wanna get those good habits now, and fitness, it's hard at first, but you should just take your time, and also when you're, pursuing fitness, do it your own way. If you don't wanna go to the gym, like I said, you can go to YouTube, you can go for a walk outside if it's too cold where you live, go to the mall and walk around the mall. There's somewhere where you can walk. If you don't wanna go in public, walk up and down your stairs if you have stairs in your house. Please do something because your body will break down on you. You may be okay now because you're 30, but I give you 10 or 15 more years until things start to deteriorate or the fat is hard to get rid of or whatever, it's harder to tone up the older you get. And you also really get energized with fitness and it makes you wanna do it more, which sounds crazy, but once you continue, you really feel good about yourself. You gain confidence, you see your results, and it gives you energy. You have more energy throughout the day when you work out. And the second half of that duck is diet. I understand everybody cannot afford to eat organic, whole foods, like fruits and vegetables with every meal, but there are little things you can do to cut out the bad things. You don't need to be eating fast food. There's You don't need to eat fried food, having red meat all the time. There's certain things you can do to tweak it to not be eating so bad. You can cut out the soda, drink more water. And for me personally, my diet was pretty well, but I wasn't consistent enough. So I had to make sure that I'm juicing enough for 2 or 3 days because what would stop me is I would juice for the day and then I have to clean out the juicer and I didn't want to clean out the juicer again. So I would skip juicing for like 3 days and then that affected my energy. So it's like, all right, well, now I'm going to juice for 3 days. So then I only have to clean the juicer once versus like cleaning it 3 or 4 times per week. Another thing with diet for me was having enough water. I do not drink enough water and I'm working on it, but that was a huge thing. At my job, I stay hydrated, and that's why I'm so grateful for that job because I always have lemon water and it literally has improved my skin. It's improved everything, really. I just feel better that I'm having water every day. And with my job as well, I stand, so it's helped toned up my legs. The fourth duck to have in a row that I personally had to get in order was my self-care. A lot of the times, in our society, we have made self-care a vanity thing, but self-care to me involves the outside and the inside. Both matter, but especially the inside. So self-care to me is, spending time by myself. I'm an introvert. So because I'm at work and I'm around people for 8 hours, when I come home or to my office, because of my personality, I need to be by myself, at least for an hour or 2, so I can decompress from being social for that long. If you're an extrovert and say you're by yourself a lot, go somewhere where you can be social. Whatever your personality type is, do that. Another thing that I feel like is self-care is spending time with your family. Um, I hope that your family is functional. It's unfortunate if they're not. But, if you do have a family that get along, I feel like we have to make more time to spend, especially with our older family members, like our grandparents and our aunts and uncles. It's priceless the moments you have with them, and sometimes we get caught up in our social life and our relationships, but we have to cherish the people that are our blood and spend time with them because you only get to live once and you want to spend as much time as you can with the people you love and the people that raised you. Another form of self-care to me that's for the inside is hanging out with your friends, especially your positive friends that you can share your ideas with and your dreams with and maybe even build with. You might have a friend that you will go 50-50 on a business with, stuff like that. But not always just business, just hanging out, watching a basketball game or getting a mani and pedi together. That's really good self-care. Another thing for us ladies, getting our eyebrows done, getting facials, that's another way we can do self-care, whether you get it done by an esthetician or you do it at home. You can do a coffee scrub in the shower, whatever you wanna do, but make sure you're taking care of yourself. Don't neglect yourself because your life is busy, trust me. There's times where I don't get to deep condition my hair, and I need to because when my hair isn't soft, when my hair isn't detangled, I'm not happy. It it might be in a bun and it might look like everything's okay, but I need to take that time to take care of myself and take care of my hair. So ladies, make sure you're going to the salon if you can, or if you do your own hair at home, take care of your hair, get your ends cut, do things like that. Self-care is so important. My 5th duck that I had to get in order are my habits. This one is so tough because it's a daily fight, but procrastination is one of my baddest habits. Um, You don't realize that there really is a window of time for a lot of things. We like to say, "Oh, you have time to do this, you have time to do that." Nope. A lot of the times, the time that you had allotted was all you had, and now that you procrastinated, you're not in line with how it would have been if you would have done it when you should have done it the first time. I hope that makes sense to you. But, certain results you're not gonna get unless you do things right away. So that's what I'm working on, recording right away, putting things out right away when I have the idea for a design, making that design right away, not delaying because sometimes it just doesn't work out the way you want to when you procrastinate. Not procrastinating to go to the gym. I'd rather go to the gym with them closing in 3 hours rather than rushing to the gym and they're about to close in 45 minutes because now I'm not gonna have the same workout I could have had. Things like that. Let's stop procrastinating. Another bad habit I had was not getting up early. And because of my job, I'm so grateful because now I'm up early every day. Especially because my job is not super close to my house. So I have to get up earlier and be there early because there might be traffic. So yeah, getting up early makes a big difference in your day. I start my day off with hot water with lemon and juice, a green juice. So how you start off your day, whether you pray, whether you read, what you eat or don't eat. That's a big habit that can affect your day, good or bad. And another habit I had that was terrible that I'm still working on is being punctual. I'm early to work every day for usually like 5 minutes early, but I would like to be 10 minutes early. So I'm gonna work on that because there's gonna be opportunities in your life where if you're not super early, anything can happen. Accidents, traffic, you might have forgot something at home and now you're late because you could have left 10 minutes earlier than you already left. So I'm practicing being extra early rather than like 5 minutes early. So whatever habit you have, you might not procrastinate, you might get up early easy or be punctual. If you have other bad habits where you don't communicate well, um, what's another bad habit? Whatever bad habit you have, just fix it. It makes your life better. My sixth duck is relationships. I feel like a lot of the times people's relationships are not in order. That goes with their family, their friends, and their boss and their coworkers. And these things really affect your life and your mental health. Relationship wise, sometimes it's hard to set boundaries with people we love, but we have to set boundaries because it's going to drive you crazy. If somebody FaceTimes you, even if you love them, like it could be your sister, but if you feel violated when people FaceTime you instead of texting you first, set that boundary and be like, "Can you please text me next time you wanna FaceTime me?" And it may seem small to them, but if it's a big deal to you, voice your opinion. Like, speak up. Also with boundaries, if people are nosy and wanna know your business just because they're your aunt or your uncle or whatever, tell them, "I don't feel comfortable discussing that." You don't have to explain yourself to people. And with relationships that are good, continue to build on that, continue to communicate, continue to show appreciation to that person. Sometimes we don't show people we appreciate them because we expect it, how they treat us, but you should really acknowledge people because it makes them feel good. And a big thing for me with relationships is conflict resolution. We don't always have good habits with that, and there's methods that we should use, like not raising your voice, letting the other person speak that's trying to voice their opinion or their stance. We can work on that. Communication and relationships are huge. Conflict resolution, relationship wise with your spouse or your boyfriend, whatever, your significant other, we always should be working to make that healthy. If there's things that are not healthy, even like shutting down when you feel hurt, you've got to fix that because we need our relationships to thrive because when our relationships are thriving, it makes our life better. And the last duck, which I officially have improved and I'm so excited about, is environment. If your environment is negative or stunts your growth or is too small, whatever it is, if it just doesn't suit you for where you want to be or who you are, you need to change that environment. This can be from hanging out on the block to just how your room is arranged or how your house is arranged. Rearrange things so that you can thrive. For me, I had to get a new space. I'm now renting an office for my business, and it's already just changing everything for me. I'm so grateful to God for it because I have a space where I can have it messy if I need to, if I'm in the middle of a project. I have a space where I can record now with good lighting and a space outside of my house because it's so hard to have a business in your house sometimes because there's certain times where you don't want to work and you just want to nap or you just want to be on your phone in your bed and your bed's right there, but your office is downstairs. So what are you going to do? Go in your bed and scroll. So it's like I had to get an office space so that I'm focused because when I'm here, I know there's no time to play. It's time to work because I'm outside of my house. So I'm so grateful for this environment. Another thing, like environmentally, that can improve your mood is getting the laundry done, folding things, hanging things up, making the bed when you get up. Just keeping a clean house in general, a house that smells good. Good lighting improves your entire life. Improve the lighting in your apartment. Whatever you need to do, change your environment so that you're a happier person. So that when you walk into a place, whether it's your job, your home, whatever, it just feels more comfortable. And this even goes for if you're somebody from a certain town and you know there's nothing there for you, leave, move when you have the chance. Get out of there because you know your dreams, the dreams you have are bigger than that place. So leave that place. Don't be afraid to do it because you'll never know how amazing your life can be if you don't change your environment. So these are the 7 things I did to change my environment. I mean, these are the 7 things I did to change my life. In the past month and a half, I was super locked in. I was not on social media. I wasn't making any content because I had to get my ducks in a row so that I don't have a meltdown. I'm not trying to shave my head or something, you know? So, thank God that I got my ducks in a row, and you should do the same, especially before it gets hot and it's summertime. When it's nice out, you don't care about having your life in order. Let's be real. You want to have fun. So while it's still cold, get your life in order. So get your ducks in a row so you can thrive in 2022. Don't be in your own way. So that's the end of my segment. And I'm going to repeat the ducks one more time for you. Number 1 is faith. Number 2 is finances. Number 3 is fitness and diet. Number 4 is self-care. That can go from manicures and pedicures all the way to hanging out with family and friends that you love and enjoy. Number 5 is habits. Number 6 is relationships. And number 7 is environment. So my last segment of my podcast is called A Song to Expand Your Attention Span. And that song is always longer than 3 minutes because most songs nowadays are 3 minutes or less. And that song is Million While You Young by Nipsey Hussle, the clean version. Thank you for listening to my podcast. Enjoy the rest of your week.